Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday the 29th of May, and we're rolling through that long weekend. So back to work tomorrow, and of course I got my Celtic shirt on for Game 7 tonight. The boys in green about to make a little bit of history. But as always, folks, we'll jump into the watch list for the week ahead, and we're going to focus on the Big 3 squeeze. So remember, anytime you hear me mention Big 3 squeeze, all I'm talking about is a squeeze, printing either a buy signal or a sell signal from the Big 3 indicator. So quick heads up, for Memorial Day, we are doing a bit of a sale here at Simpler Trading where you can get 30% off of indicators and courses. So I think the coupon code is MEMO30. So use coupon code MEMO30 at checkout, and you can check out some of the courses, some of the indicators. I am a little bit biased, of course, but I would check out the Big 3 bundle. But with that out of the way here, guys, a couple things to know about the current market. Nothing you probably don't already know, but if it's not technology or semiconductors, it looks a little bit like shit. Energy, financials, the industrials, healthcare, even the equal weighted index. So check out RSP here. This takes all the stocks in the S&P 500 and gives them an equal weighting. This leans pretty bearish here. Sell signals on the weekly, the 3-day, and the 4-hour. And you got bear squeezes printing on your 3-day, your 2-day, and your daily charts. So if all you're trading is the technology stocks, if all you're trading is AMD and NVIDIA, then it feels like a bull market. You look at energy, you look at the financials, you look at your equal weighted index, and it paints a bit of a different picture. So, food for thought there. Then if you look at the dollar, usually if we're looking for a strong market, we're looking for weakness here out of the dirty Dixie. And the dirty dollar kind of shapes up here over the last few weeks. Get a big positive cross in momentum. We are cruising back above that daily 21 EMA. And we got some buy signals here on your daily chart, your 4-hour chart, and your 2-hour chart. So usually that strength here out of the Dixie doesn't bode well for a strong market. And then the junk bonds, you check out HYG here. Again, if you're looking for a strong market, you're typically looking for strength out of the junk bonds. All right, you're looking for a weak dollar and a strong HYG. And this paints a bit more of a bearish picture. Sell signals on your daily chart and your 4-hour. We are under the daily 21. And you got bear squeezes here on your 2-day chart and your daily chart. So if the dollar continues to rally, if the bear squeezes here in the junk bonds fires short, if the bear squeezes over there in the equal weighted index fires short, it could put a little bit of pressure on the market. But if Google and Microsoft keep going up 10% every week, then none of these things matter. They don't matter until they matter. But for now, my friends, you've got one hell of a bull market going on over here in the QQQ. And aside from it being a little extended, everything looks pretty good. No sell signals, no problems, got a bunch of buy signals here. So for now, guys, we're going to keep on working the same game plan. Leadership is technology and the semiconductors. And until that changes, we're trying to buy the dip here. All right, we're going to work our bullish playbook where the cashola is flowing. And right now the cashola is flowing into, 5 or 10 stocks. It's your FANG stocks, it's NVIDIA, and it's AMD. So no changes in the game plan. But one interesting thing here is the S&Ps are again starting to shape up. Now remember, heading into last week, the bulls kind of had everything they needed to go on ahead here and finally get that breakout above that 4,200. All right, they had buy signals, they had squeezes, and then kind of through the midpoint of the week, got a little bit of a flush. Things got a little bit suspect. But then, man, on Friday, the bulls came out swinging. And we actually did crank out a close above that 4,200. 4,205 to be exact. So check it out. As far as path of least resistance, Big 3 indicator prints a buy signal on the weekly chart, the daily chart, the 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute, and the 15. All kinds of pretty colors up there. And then for squeezes, we got that nested squeeze dynamic on the weekly chart, the 2-day chart, and the daily chart. So with all the ammunition here from the buy signals, they're in a pretty good position, guys, to go on ahead and get that domino effect going. Daily squeeze fires long. From there, the 2-day squeeze fires long. From there, the weekly squeeze can fire long. And I gotta think, you get the weekly squeeze here to fire long, we should be pushing back towards the August highs around 4,300, 4,350. So right now, that's my target. And from a squeeze perspective, from a compression perspective, from a path of least resistance perspective, they are fully locked and loaded. So again, the ball's in their court. We'll see what they can do with it this week. But for now, I think they got a pretty good shot here at finally getting that breakout. And then we are back towards the August highs. So we'll see what's up here this week. But what more do they need? 3 big squeezes. And remember, the beauty of the squeeze is it tells you we're gearing up for a big push. Alright, we're taking a breather, catching our breath, building up some energy, getting ready for a big one. The million-dollar question whenever you trade the squeeze is, which way is it going to fire? So this is where you get a beautiful marriage. The blue label tells me we're squeezing, and we're printing a buy signal. So during that period of compression, your structure, your momentum, everything points towards that squeeze should fire to the upside. So a big triple bull squeeze here for the S&Ps. And then as far as the watch list, guys, we're going into tomorrow long Tesla, Netflix, and Apple. So first up is Netflix. And again, as far as that domino effect, Netflix is shaping up pretty good here. So the bull squeeze on the daily chart has already fired. So we caught the initial push, took our profits, and then we got long again last week on this flush. So daily squeeze fires long. The squeeze over on the 2-day chart fired long. The squeeze-a-roo on the 3-day chart fired long. And now you got one man standing. One squeeze standing. And that's the squeeze here on the weekly chart. So one after the other, they squeeze, they release their energy. If they can get the weekly squeeze here to fire long, we should be pushing back towards that 405 level. Looking for a push back towards that weekly 200 SMA. So we are a fan of Netflix for now. We got some put credit spreads that expire in a few weeks, and I think a dip to an 8 EMA or a dip to a 21 EMA should continue to make for a good buying opportunity. So watch that 380 level. They take off the top here at 380, then I think you're opening up the door for a path towards that 405. Then next up here is Apple. And we got long in the options room and the mastery on Friday. So you'll notice here, guys, Apple's been playing out a perfect uptrend. All right, a big push away from the 21 EMA, a pull back to it, continuation of the trend. They pull back to it, continuation, pull back to it, continuation. So last week, got a little bit of a flush back here to the buy zone. And then Friday morning, I want to say maybe 10, 15 minutes after the open, right near that daily 21, the bull started showing up here in the form of lower time frame buy signals. So that's always going to be the trigger for an entry. On the pullback to the 21 EMA, your 5-minute chart, your 15-minute, maybe even the 30-minute, they tend to print the sell signal. When we find support at that 21, that's where they go from being bearish to neutral. So the label will go from red to gray. Sell signal on the pullback. We flip back to neutral when we find support. And then the trigger for that continuation higher is when the indicator finally goes bullish again. All right, from bearish to neutral to bullish. So the trigger for an entry on Friday was the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 30-minute chart, cranking out them sweet buy signals. So for Apple here, guys, we're looking for a push towards 180. And what might be the trigger for a little bit more continuation here tomorrow could be the bull squeeze over on the 5-minute chart. So check this bad boy out. One thing I'm a huge fan of, either into the close or at the open, are these 5-minute or 15-minute bull squeezes on these leading names. It could be a nice little spot to to carve out an entry, so to say. So 5-minute bull squeeze here for Apple. You got good structure. You got buy signals on your weekly, your 2-hour, your 1-hour, 30-minute. And if we can take out the highs here around that 176.50, I do think the next target is a push towards $1.80. So we got some call debit spreads on Apple. We got some put credit spreads on Netflix. And then for Tesla, we got some call debit spreads on this bad boy as well. Now the thing about Tesla, guys, is heading into tomorrow, I don't have anything here in the form of a brand new squeeze. Let me reword that. There might be some squeezes, but I don't have any squeezes cranking out that buy signal. What we do have here is a daily squeeze that fired long a few days ago. So we squeezed during the blue dot, alright, down there. And then when you get your first gray dot, that means the squeeze is fired. So this is a bit more of a continuation idea. It was a very short-lived squeeze, but nonetheless, they built up energy. Squeeze fires long. You get a little bit of a back test to the 8 EMA. And as far as continuation, we're looking for a push here at a minimum towards that 200. And for what it's worth, guys, they got pretty close there on Friday. But $200 is the 200 SMA. And I think at a minimum here into this week, we should see a push to come on up and test that level. And potentially trade a little bit higher. So as far as ammunition, we got buy signals on the daily, the 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, and the 30-minute chart. So I think the key for a nice entry here could be a pullback to a 15-minute 21 EMA, could be a pullback to a 30-minute 21 EMA, an hourly 21 EMA, or then even off your daily chart. Very similar to the entry on Netflix. You love to buy them back here at that daily 21. Sometimes when they're a little bit too strong, you might have to settle for an entry at the daily 8 EMA. And Tesla's daily 8 EMA is right around that 181-ish level. But I do think based on all the buy signals in the S&Ps, based on all the buy signals in the Qs, things should be shaping up here for a little bit more continuation, guys. Now, don't panic if things pull back this week. Keep that in mind. Look at the chart of Microsoft. Look at the chart of Google. Look at an NVIDIA and AMD. All right, they're a little bit extended. So while it's not going to be too crazy to see continuation, it's also not going to be too crazy to see a little bit of a flush. And I think for now that flush should make for a good buying opportunity. But there you have it, y'all. The biggest of them all, as far as squeezes go heading into this week, are the nested bull squeezes here on the S&Ps. We got all kinds of buy signals, and that nested squeeze dynamic on the weekly chart, the 2-day chart, and that daily chart. So one by one here, we're looking for that domino effect. Daily squeeze fires first, then the 2-day squeeze fires, then the weekly squeeze fires, and I do think that action should carve out a path back towards the August highs. So the ball is in their court. And then for Netflix here, they fired the daily squeeze, they fired the 2-day, they fired the 3-day. The last squeeze standing is your big whopping weekly bull squeeze. That fires long above 380. At a minimum, we're looking for a push here towards 405. For Apple, you had a nice little pullback to the buy zone last week, and then heading into tomorrow, that 5-minute bull squeeze just might be your trigger here for a bit more continuation. Above that breakout level, looking for a push towards 180, and then last but not least is Tesla, and we're looking for a little bit more continuation to go on ahead and test that daily 200 right around 200. How perfect is that? But alright, y'all, as always, I appreciate you being a subscriber. I appreciate you watching. Hope y'all find it helpful, and I'll see you on Wednesday morning, 7:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. 7:45 a.m. Central, 8:45 a.m. Eastern for pre-market prep. But until then, enjoy what is left of your long weekend, and we'll talk soon. Adios.